In revealing the nature of self-realization, Sri Bhagavan has called such Sahaja. The term means natural, or the innate. He has spoken of Sahaja Samadhi, absorption in the innate, the absorption in that which is natural. And he, as well as other great sages, have spoken of Sahaja Sthiti, abidance as the innate, or the natural abidance. What is innate, or truly natural, has no coming or going. If something is innate, it is one with your being, inseparable from your own nature. And absorption in that which is inseparable from your own nature must then be something without beginning and without end, without a coming to you or a going away from you. So what kind of absorption is this? If we are absorbed in something else, we may then come forth from that something else again. But if there is absorption in the innate, there is no coming and no going. Therefore, in your quest for self-realization, you inquire to know the very nature of your being. And we should not wait for something to happen to us, for what happens to us is not the innate. What happens to us is just an appearance. And appearance, which is subject to disappearance, of course, is ultimately unreal. What appears and disappears is the assumption of individuality, or the I notion, and all that is appended to it. That appears and disappears, and that is truly unreal. When the unreal is known as unreal, it ceases to be experienced. And there is absorption in the innate. This is not an absorption or samadhi of one thing into another. Rather, it is yourself in yourself, remaining as yourself. Regard only that which is innate as your identity. What comes, goes, and cannot be part of you. The body comes and goes, it cannot be you. The mind comes and goes, it cannot be you. Every perception comes and goes. Every conception comes and goes. None of this can be you. The assumed experiencer and all that he experiences comes and goes. This cannot be you. What is it in you that is neither obtained nor lost? To know that, and to know that as yourself, is to abide in the innate, Sahaja. Examine your own perspective. If you think self-realization has not yet come, you must discover what is meant by the innate. If you're expecting it to come, still you must know what is meant by innate or natural. For this reason, the Maharshi said that to say, I have realized the self, or I have not realized the self, are both equally absurd. Because there is only one self, not two. And that self is the very substance of realization, being of the nature of illimitable, unformed, unborn being, consciousness, bliss. What is necessary is to abide in the knowledge of who you are. Similarly, if we say God is within, what is the within? This is what must be known. If you establish yourself in illusion only, as if you were an individual entity, that is, if you pretend or assume out of pure imagination that this is the case, then by inquiry, find out the root of this individuality. Where the false individuality or ego sense ceases, there is the samadhi that is sahaja, the absorption that is natural. Sometimes in describing this self-realization, Sri Ramana would say it is Sahaja Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa in this sense means doubtless or undifferentiated. Where the ego subsides, there are no doubts about what is real, about the self. Where the ego subsides, there is absolutely steady knowledge. How can the knowledge be absolutely steady? Because it is identical with being. It is the innate knowledge, not something that comes and goes. Do you see how the realization must always be of the nature of the self that is realized? Thus it is called truly non-dual. If it is of another nature, the knowledge will not be steady, and neither will the happiness and peace that one desires. Nirvikalpa may also be taken to mean undifferentiated. In truth, there is only undifferentiated existence, which is undifferentiated consciousness. With the delusive rise of the notion of I, division starts. If you examine your own experience in your own mind, you will see all the ideas of differences are based on the fundamental idea of I. Once there is I, there is difference. Difference between you and the universe, difference between you and God. Jagat Jiva Para. The world, the individual, the supreme. All seem differentiated. Where that notion of I, of a separate individuality as one's identity, where that notion is no more, there is no differentiation. Then what is realized and who realizes are identical. Such is the natural state, the innate. It is not a state of the body, it is not a state of the senses. It is not a state or condition of the prana, and it is not a state or condition of the mind. It is not anything experienced by anyone, but when the idea of anyone whatsoever is abandoned, this alone is found to exist. And this alone is truly direct experience. If you seek that by deep inquiry within yourself, which is innate, this absorption in the innate, the natural state, will be found to be yours. If you deeply inquire as to who am I, you are absorbed in that. You abide in that as that itself.